Hi guys, it's me again. So today is Sunday and I'm going to do the question and answer video finally. I've got some of the questions here that I'm going to answer today. Some of these questions I'll have to do in separate videos because they will take too long to do. So I'm going to do those videos on their own. And today I'm just going to answer a few questions about me. It seems people want to know about me and my life and where I grew up and what I'm doing and all sorts. So I thought I'd cover that in this video today. So I was born in North Wales, lived in North Wales all my life, and then went to school there. I left secondary school with 10 GCSEs because this is another thing people have been asking about my education. So I left secondary school, I got 10 GCSEs. The only GCSE I failed was English literature. I didn't technically fail it because I got an E. That was my grade, but I was told that I didn't need it, so I didn't even bother with English lit. I got an E. So then after that I went to college and I did a BTEC National Diploma in Childcare, which is equivalent now to an NVQ3, sorry. So I did NVQ3 in childcare and I did that for 2 years. Then I decided to do an A-level in Welsh for a year, so I did that. And then I had a couple of years break from education and I went to work full time. And then I came to Cardiff to university and did a psychology degree. I ended up staying in Cardiff for 5 years and I was living with somebody in Cardiff. That relationship broke down, so I packed all my stuff and moved back home to North Wales and started working in North Wales. Got a job as a leader in a nursery. I also worked in a pub in the evenings and during school holiday time when school was closed. I got together with my son's dad and had my son in December. Then my mum died very suddenly in the August. She'd been poorly for a while, on and off, and then she got a chest infection. She got sent to hospital because they couldn't clear it. Took them 2 weeks to clear it, and then they found out that she had tumours all over her body. She was full of cancer, and they sent her home on the Wednesday. She got put into a medically induced coma on the Friday and she died on the Sunday. So she died really quickly. She went really quickly. My son was 2 and I decided I didn't want to stay in North Wales any longer. Me and my son's dad had broken up, the relationship ended, and I just needed to get away from North Wales, and so I moved to Cardiff with my son. Yeah, we moved down in September and he was 3 in the December, and then I got a job in a school. That didn't go so well for me. The children were amazing, the parents were great, most of the staff were brilliant, but the higher management, or the leaders and the management people weren't that great. There was 3 ladies and they were absolutely awful. They were horrible, and I had such a bad experience there. And what happened was my son got really poorly with scarlet fever, and nobody knew what it was because they hadn't seen scarlet fever for such a long time, and the doctors knew what it was. He was misdiagnosed and told that I was told he had hands, foot and mouth. All his fingernails fell off, his toenails fell off, all his skin on his hands and feet just fell off. For a week I just had cold flannels on his hand. He couldn't play, he couldn't eat, nothing. It was horrendous. And And this job, these people made me feel awful because I was with my son and I had nobody else. I was on my own in Cardiff. I had my brother and my sister-in-law, but they had a young child. They had just had my niece, and we couldn't go anywhere near them. They couldn't get near us just in case they passed it on because she was only a baby. They were just not very nice, and it was a horrible experience, and I've never experienced anything like that in my life. And so I decided to hand my notice in and go self-employed. So then if anything else happened to my son, I could be there. I wouldn't have to ever be made to feel like that again, and that I'd have to choose between my job and my son, and then being punished for choosing to stay and look after my son, who was really ill. So that's what I did. And me and my son were living in a flat in Cardiff, and it was in like a block of 4 flats, and it was lovely. The only thing was there was no garden, but that was fine because there's plenty of parks and everything around. Anyway, so I went self-employed in the September, and I started my cleaning business, and then I had my sewing business just like on the side, more of a hobby. And doing that, but my main earner was the cleaning business, and I started doing that. My son was a lot happier. I was so happy. It was great. It worked out great. Then that was in the September. Then in the December, my contract, on the flat was due to be renewed for another year, and the landlord phoned me up and said, "I'm really sorry, I'm not renewing your lease. Something had gone wrong in his life and he needed to move back in." And I was like, oh no, I've just become self-employed. I've been self-employed 2 months, and I panicked then because, you know, I needed somewhere else to live, and they need to know how much I was earning, and oh, it was just terrible. Anyway, by now my dad was living in Cardiff. He'd been living in Cardiff a couple of months, and he was living in this flat, ground floor flat, and then there was a flat above him, and they were moving out. So my dad said, oh, I'll try and find out who the landlord is and see what's what. Anyway, it turns out that it's the same landlord that owns the ground floor flat and the first floor flat, and he said that I could move in, no problem. So that's how I ended up in this house with my dad. So if you look at it from the street, it's a house, but inside there's 2 flats. They weren't converted into flats or anything like that. They were built like that. And I recently found out that the builder that built this house actually wanted 8 flats, but they would only allow him to build 2. So that's what happened. So yeah, me and my dad live in this house that is split into 2 flats. He's on the bottom, I'm on the top. He's got 2 bedroom, I've got 2 bedroom, exactly the same layout nearly as each other. And I will be doing a video on that. Somebody's asked for a house tour, so I will do that in a separate video. So somebody was asking how close me and my dad live to each other. So very close. He lives downstairs, I live upstairs. I'm close enough to keep an eye on him every single day, but he's still got his independence downstairs, and I've got my space upstairs, you know. Even if we were living together in the same house, though, we would be fine because we get on that well. So that's fine. But then, like, you know, it's great for my son because if he wants to go out in the garden, he knows my dad's right there. I've got a patio door anyway. I can see him, but he just likes to know somebody is there. And then at the moment, a lot of you are asking what I do for work. So I've got my cleaning business and I got my sewing business, and then COVID hit and I lost all my cleaning jobs because we went into lockdown, couldn't go and do any of them. And then so I relied heavily on my sewing business, and I started making masks, which was my main income then. The sewing business, made loads of masks. and just started making stuff really that would save me money, that was friendly to the environment, save me money, save other people money, so and some decorative things, and yeah, whatever I wanted or fancied making or what I thought was in fashion, I'd give it a go. And then we came out of lockdown. Some of my clients, I had a lot of elderly clients, and a few of them went into nursing homes when we went into lockdown. Some of them, like, you know, made alternative arrangements. They got carers in and whatever. Some of them sadly didn't make it through COVID. And so then also when we started coming out of lockdown, the schools were still shut, so I was homeschooling my son. So some of the jobs I had to give up because they needed a cleaner and I just couldn't do it. My son couldn't go to my dad because he was classed as vulnerable, and then if I was going to different people's houses and then my son would be going to stay with my dad, we didn't want to pass it on like that. My dad was really scared of getting COVID because he'd had throat cancer, and so yeah, that's what happened with that. So I've got a few of my cleaning jobs still going on, because that's regular money, and they don't mind if I have to miss a day. I can arrange to go another day or swap days, you know, they don't mind. They're really easygoing, they're really flexible, and I love that. So I've got that, and then I do my sewing business as well. I've had a lot of commissions, so I advertise my shop on like Facebook, it goes on Marketplace and things like that. Then local businesses around here have seen what I do, and so I make stuff for them as well, for businesses around Cardiff, and then just word of mouth really. I made a couple of stuff for school, and then that spread around for the parents, and so I closed my Etsy shop because, well, I haven't closed it, I've put it on holiday. I've had to, you know, pause it for a bit because I had so many commission works to do, and you know, end of term stuff, so like teachers' gifts and stuff like that. I was making stuff for that. I'd had a few other commission works jobs to do as well, so I've just put my Etsy shop on hold at the moment. And then also I got a teaching job just as an assistant, just helping out because they were short staffed because you know, of COVID and everything like that, and so they asked me to go in and help, so I did, and I did that for 6 weeks. I've also been gardening for a few people. Nothing major, cutting grass, tidying up, pruning, chopping, all that kind of stuff. Nothing too hard or skilled about it. So I've been doing that. And so end of term, school finished here a week last Friday. And so I got poorly, didn't I? I've also been doing my YouTube channel. And so my channel was monetized in April, and then you have to earn so much money before you get a payout, and so this month I've earned enough for my first payout, woohoo, and I will get it at the end of August. So whatever month I make it, I'm not paid until the following month. So that's April. So over the 6 weeks holiday now, I'll still have a couple of my cleaning jobs ticking over, but this is why I was working so much before, so then, you know, the pressure's taken off me through August, because my son's off school, and yeah, it's just hard, isn't it? It's hard. So anyway, I've got my cleaning jobs at the go, I've got my sewing. Hopefully I will open my Etsy shop again in September and I'll be making some new stuff. I've got my gardening jobs and my YouTube channel. The plan in the long run, hopefully, I'm working on about 5 or 6 years now, that YouTube will become my full-time income if I'm lucky. That's what I'm working towards. That would be amazing if I could yeah, just do YouTube as a full-time employment. We'll see. My allotment, that's another thing somebody's asked about. So when I moved into this flat, I noticed there was allotments at the end of the street, and growing veg is something I've always done with my mum. She lived on a farm, she was a farmer, and then we lived on the farm and we didn't do much vegetable growing, but me and my mum messed around with it. It wasn't until my mum and dad retired and we made a vegetable patch. They bought this house with just an acre of land, and so we did a veg pot in the front garden, and my dad got really poorly and it helped me through that, and then my mum got ill and it helped me through that. And so when I came to Cardiff and I saw that, I just knew I had to get an allotment somewhere. I was just because it's like my therapy. I absolutely love it. It's my hobby. If I hadn't have got the allotment, I'd have done something with the garden, you know, and made it work there. So the allotment is a piece of land, usually owned by the council or somebody, and then they sort it out into plots, and you either get a half plot or a full plot, and I pay the council every month for my allotments. I've got 2. One I've had for 7 years, this is the 7th year. One I've had, this is the 3rd year, and I pay £25 a month for them, and I grow loads of food on the allotment. We've been today and I've picked about 20 cucumbers. We're going to be eating cucumbers a lot, and for dinner we've had sliced cucumber, fried courgette, and I boiled some green beans as well. And it was really nice, very random, no meat, no potatoes or anything like that. I'm absolutely stuffed now, and my dad enjoyed it and my son enjoyed it, so that's the main thing. So yeah, that's the kind of food we're eating at the moment, and the reason I have the allotment, so if money does get a bit tight, I can fall back on the allotment to feed us. And money has been very, very tight, really tight after lockdown. Okay, so there's a few more questions. So, and these are the ones that I'm going to do a separate video on. So, other ways that I save money around the house. So I will do that on a separate video. My frugal tips around the house. Then I've got my top 5 frugal tips, which I'll also do in another video, and how am I going to keep warm this winter, and I've been working on that a lot, because I have this really annoying thing. When I get stressed, my hair falls out, and so for the past 5-6 weeks now, my hair's been falling out because I've been getting really stressed over stuff, and all I need to do is sit down and figure it out, and I know I'll feel better then. So I have been worrying that how I'm going to heat the house, so I'll come up with some ideas and I'm going to share them with you, and hopefully, you know, they might help somebody else as well. What other questions have I been asked? Okay, if I was asked, if I was to leave this house today, right now, what 3 things would I take with me apart from my son or pets, animals? My mum and dad bought me a watch for my 21st birthday, so I would take that. Then my 9, which is my Welsh grandmother, my 9 left her ring to my mum, and then when my mum passed away she left it to me. It's nothing fancy, so I would take that, so my watch and my ring, and then I also have a box of like memory box with bits from when my son was born and when he was little, things he's been making me in school that are special, I put in this box, so I would take that with me. So yeah, those are the three things: watch, the ring and the memory box. Somebody then asked me if I went out for a 3-course meal, what would be my favourite food to have. So for a starter, I would have a prawn cocktail. For mains, I would have carbonara. Absolutely love pasta and cream and cheese. Oh, and I'd have that with a side portion of peas. And then for dessert, I would have either like a panna cotta or ice cream. I can't choose between the two. Oh, I'd probably go for ice cream because I could just eat ice cream morning, noon and night. I love it, love it. What else was it? And then I was asked my least favourite food, so stuff that I don't like. I'm really not that fussy. The only thing I don't like is I don't like spicy food. I'm rubbish with spicy food. I don't like avocado. Can't stand avocado. I really hate mac and cheese, and I don't know why, because I love pasta and I love cheese, but mac and cheese, I just, oh no, the thought of that, no. And I also don't like gravy, like on a Sunday dinner. If I'm doing a stew or anything like that, I have to either leave it as water and not thicken it up into a gravy, or if I do turn it into a gravy to go with the stew, if I turn that into a gravy, then I have to add something to it once it's in my bowl, like piccalilli or something like that, so it doesn't taste anything of gravy. I don't know why, it's just something I don't like, and I'm not keen on Yorkshire puddings either. Somebody asked me if I make my own bread. Yes, I do. I have a bread maker and I make my own bread. I love making fruit bread, but I have been buying a lot of Too Good To Go magic bags, and usually I get bread in them and then I freeze that, and we've been eating that. My son loves wholemeal bread, so I do buy that for him. So I haven't made bread for a while, but once it starts getting cooler again, like autumn, winter, I will start making the bread again. I just think it's too hot at the moment, and plus if I make it, I eat it within 2 days. Now I know I could cut it up and freeze it, but I don't, and it tastes so good I just end up woofing it within a couple of days, and I'm trying to be good, which is not really working at the moment. Now then, my son is really desperate to start coming on some of these videos. He wants to do a couple of cooking videos, or while I'm cooking he wants to help, and he gets really sad when I say no, so maybe in the future now you will see him in a couple of videos. And also yes, hopefully you will meet my dad. He's just a little bit paranoid after his cancer treatment. He says he looks old. My dad's had the all clear. He has been in remission now, since the last we went into lockdown in Wales, didn't we? And he had to have some more treatment then because the cancer came back again. Anyway, they got rid of it again, and he's been okay since then. So about a year now he's been in remission, but he just feels old. He feels old, he feels really self-conscious of himself, and COVID didn't help, yeah, so hopefully one day I will get him on the videos so you can meet my dad as well. Right, I think I'm going to wrap it up there now, because I think I have been talking for long enough, and I hope that's given you some idea about me and what I do, where I've come from and where I'm going, maybe, and I hope I've covered everything. If I haven't, I will answer any questions in the comments below now, or if you have any more questions, then I can add them to another video. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope I haven't waffled on too much. So take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.